I fix my eyes on Christ. I fix my eyes on... Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Colton, and I like to talk about Bibles, books, and theology-related things. Today, I want to make a quick video addressing an issue that is likely a part of every YouTube channel that produces content about Bibles. And that is the King James Only folks who come out of the woodworks in the comments. Okay? Now, I want to do just a few things in this video to address this topic, and I'm not going to say anything else about it after that because I just find it, for the most part, to just be unfruitful and disheartening. Let me give you some background really quick on me thinking through these positions. So if you don't know, the King James Only position has been around for quite some time. And my biggest issue with it has always been the sort of fundamentalist, Peter Ruckman, Gail Ripplinger sort of folks who really their arguments that they're making are not coherent or honest, and they're just slandering and mocking any evidence to the contrary. I was faced with the concept of a King James only person who happened to kind of sprout up in my church when I was a young man. I was a youth pastor, and our church was not KJVO. We actually used the ESV, but there was a guy who was coming to our church who became King James only. I remember he came into my little office at one point at the church and said to me, "You need to throw your ESV Bible in the trash. It's garbage," is literally what he said. By the way, just not a great way to make your point, regardless of what you're doing. So that was my first brush with it, and I was taken aback. And of course, he told me a lot of the same arguments that you hear from the sort of Ruckmanite camp of things. I went looking for discussions about this. I found Dr. James White's videos on the King James Only controversy and felt very equipped by those videos. They're helpful. Still recommend them to this day, where he talks about the textual issues behind it and all of those things. Fast forward a little bit later, then I start noticing a different sort of argument coming from my theological camp, sort of confessional, reformed theological camp. And that is this move with what I've heard it called confessional bibliology, or the confessional text position, or, the TR preference and things like that. As a matter of fact, let me show you this real quick. It's going to be folks who are in this camp. Why I preach from the received text, and it's an anthology of essays by Reformed ministers. And I got this book after sort of seeing all this stuff come out, and I was just curious. I wanted to read it. And the thing is, there are nuances to those who prefer the King James, because even though this says the received text, which is just the Textus Receptus, the underlying text, many of the people in this book do not like the New King James, which has the exact same underlying text. As a matter of fact, the biggest critique of this book that I can say, and of many others have said, there's a particular person in this book. Now, it's written by several different people, so you can't pick on everyone in here for this. But there's a person in this book who called these translations that I use, critical text translations, Satan's Bible, which is it's very Ruckmanite in its language. It's very you just attack with slanderous things, and I'm just not okay with that. But one of the things this book showed me is that there's nuance to folks who like the King James. And there is a difference between King James only hateful speech towards any other Bible version and King James preferred. Now, I've made a video about the King James on my channel, and I actually really like the King James. I consult it every single time I do sermon prep or study for a lesson here at church. I study the King James. Now, I don't preach from it. I do preach from the ESV. But I love the King James. But often, and time again, in the comments section of this YouTube channel, I'm being told that the other translations are evil and demonic, and that we're dumb for even using them. It's just very terrible ways to communicate your point, because it's incoherent. A lot of times there's a lack of evidence. The whole idea of missing verses and all that stuff. All that stuff's been addressed ad nauseum, and I don't feel the need to. There's plenty of people out there who've addressed some of their arguments. But here's the thing. I wanted to address this and say, I love the King James Bible. I will continue to use the King James Bible, but I will not only use the King James Bible. This channel will never promote King James Onlyism. And furthermore, I want to acknowledge you if you are a King James preferred person. Even if you only use the King James, but it's not out of some sort of superiority or this feeling that all the other versions are just evil, but you just prefer the King James and that's what you use. Listen, that's great. I love the King James and I'm on your side. Like, I would never want to discourage anyone who loves the King James Bible from reading it. And if that's you, I'm not, this is not about you. If that's you, you're that person who just loves and prefers the King James Version. This isn't about you. Okay, I'm happy that you're here watching this video right now. But if you are a staunch KJV onlyist, and my comments have been blowing up with them, and here's how I know the difference between a King James onlyist and a King James preferred person, a person who uses the King James but they're not an onlyist. How I know the difference in the comments immediately is the KJV only folks cannot just simply say, I love the King James. They have to say why every other translation of the Bible is garbage, or why it's deceiving, or why we shouldn't use it. And this video would be hours long to get into all of those arguments, and other people have done that, so I'm not doing that here. But I will tell you, it's just not true, okay? The sort of arguments that they make, the bullying comments, the hateful things they say about other faithful translations of the Bible, it's just not true. And I'm going to take the advice. I used to engage some of you who would come and leave those comments. And the thing is I do this YouTube channel for fun, and I try and do it consistently. I've really been trying to post 2 videos a week, along with some shorts. And it's not like paid loads of money to do this. Okay, it's not. So my time, I just have to sort of guard, and I'm not going to engage hateful, spewing lies of King James only people anymore. I'm going to take the advice of my friend and just say, I'm done. So from here on out, just know, if you leave a hateful, ugly comment based on your KJVO position, I'm just going to delete it. I'm not going to leave it there. I don't like doing that. I like the concept of free speech. I like the concept of people being able to say what they want, even though I don't agree with it. But it's just become a time suck for me. It's really, I can't respond to all of them, and I don't like to just leave them there without a response because I think they're deceptive. So I'm just going to delete them. Okay? If you want to comment about how much you love the KJV, that's great. I love it too. But if you're going to comment with things about other Bible versions and calling them Satan's Bible or evil or satanic or deceiving or all this stuff, the latest comment I had about this had to do with Lucifer versus Morning Star in the Old Testament, and it's just nonsensical. I mean, it's been addressed ad nauseum, but the idea is, yeah, the KJV has Lucifer, which is actually a Latin word that was moved into the King James Bible, which means light bearer or morning star. It's there's no deception going on, and yet they would have us to believe that. So I'm just deleting those comments for the sake of my sanity and for the sake of the truth, because I don't want to deal with every single one of them. I just want to keep making good content about the Bible and theology and books, because that's what I do. So anyway, I just wanted to get all this out there, address the King James deal, talk about it with you, know that I'm not ignorant of these things. I have done my research, and even this, I contemplated this position. It's one of the reasons one of the things I do love about like the New King James and the King James for that matter. It's sort of the unchanging nature of it, as far as updates go. I think that's great. But as far as just the whole concept of King James Onlyism, I'm out. Okay? I'm out. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for giving me your time and watching. And let's enjoy commenting and discussing things down below. If you're civil and you only use the King James, but you're civil and you're not being deceptive, I would love to talk more with you and all that stuff. But I'm just done with the hateful stuff. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate you.